And I realized in part 3, in the beginning of the video, I realized I didn't show it running, but that's okay. So here I have the other TS carb, here I have my carb. Before I take them both apart, what I have here is the old gaskets on his. This is just for the throttle. This really doesn't seal up anything. But this is what I think I need. On my bowl, this is the bowl gasket, his old one. This hole right here, I didn't do quite right. So I used that as gasket paper. So I'm gonna try and use this one, see if it runs right. Because it could just be that this gasket could be special. You might not be able to make your own just because of this little lip here, like if it gets destroyed. I'll open up the bowl and show you what I mean. But it runs great with his, not so good with mine. So I'm thinking it's this. So you can see here's my gasket. And right there, it's a little bit hard to make out, but the gasket should wrap around that. Alright, so now what we got is my 78 carb and his 76 carb. There's a few noticeable differences, but hopefully, basically everything's the same. The only thing that I noticed is that float ball has some different style bowl or floaters. So that's really the only difference that I see. So on mine, this jet was dirty, that little hole, and on his, wherever it is, it wasn't. So hopefully this was the problem. I'm gonna dip this, it's Monday, and I'll let it soak for a long time and get it back together Friday when I'm back here, and hopefully it's good. Okay, so I did have to cut out a lot of footage from before just because it didn't make much sense. I didn't really explain stuff. I was kind of in a rush each time I made a video. Let me just go out and say that gasket didn't make a difference, and really nothing was making a big difference. It was really was doing the same thing. So, we switched the carb and all that. It ran fine, which now makes absolutely no sense on why it ran fine. So we took both the carbs back to the shop. We cleaned the hell out of mine, and it had the wrong jet in it. It had a 140 jet, so his carb was rebuilt, so he had all the old stuff. So we put a 160 jet in it, needle right in the middle, same everything as his carb. And we put it on there, didn't run right, did the same thing. Even though it had the same air filter and everything. So I did a bunch of other stuff, nothing worked with combinations. So my dad was like, hey, try it without the air cleaner. And I did. And guess what? It ran perfectly fine. So when I took a look at my air cleaner, that thing was very restrictive. That was a very thick air cleaner, and there was only about a finger width of openness that can go through it, because it was only like this long, but it had a little cap that was this big and a pipe going through that was this big. So it had like this much air all around to get through. So now I got a flexible piece of hose in there and this air filter from a go-kart, a bar stool racer. And this thing runs mint, but it doesn't smoke as much as I would like it to, and it doesn't have as much, torque off idle as I would like it to. And, 2 strokes, not so good at low RPMs, but it should be better. So I'm going to try messing around with that today. It's just a little pilot screw. I already have it in, probably too much, but I'm going to probably bring it in even more. But I'm going to set up my camera. If I don't see too much smoke, then I'm definitely going to move the clip down one, just because. Here you can see it. This is mainly set up so that I can figure out where it's smoking and if it's smoking, because I don't want it to be running clean just because of the fact that it has been just rebuilt. Got a horn, that's cool. But should start up first kick after a few primer kicks. I've never tried it without a primer kick. And normally you need choke. I've never tried it without choke. But it ran like 15 hours ago. So it should be fine. fake plate, by the way. But, let's see. I'll try and get a video of it. Sounds like idle's gotta go up. So you can see there, it doesn't have a good amount of power off of the start, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but up top it has a lot of power. So I don't know if that's gonna do it for this video or not. I do gotta find another air filter, either for this or for the go-kart. Probably get one off Go Power Sports, but very happy. It's very drivable now, which is awesome. Alright, so that'll do it for this video. I know this wasn't much. None of the videos are really much, but I like to keep my videos nice and short. So it's gonna be it, like I just said. Hopefully next video I'll either get some sort of ride-on view. I do know, since I had my GoPro for 4 years now, all my helmets, the little sticky things I put on it, fell off. So I got to figure out something with that. But what do you expect? 4 years of those sticky pads being on the helmets. So I got to figure out something with that. Then hopefully I can get a ride along video, and my dad's ts250 over there when we switch the carbs. His boot, like, that comes down from the air filter, this is so old. This should be kind of rubbery. This won't fit over the carb just because you can't flex it one bit. See, nice and solid. So we can't go for a group ride until he gets that part, which is not necessary for it to run, but then it won't have an air filter. So hope you guys enjoyed.